this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Get It Right, Texoma, with the trio, Mike Hendren, Terry McAdams, Trey Serrala. How is everybody? We're glad to have you here. Thank you once again for joining us. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you know to find us there. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So welcome to the show. It's brought to you by Eddie Hills Fun Cycles, 401 North Scott in downtown Wichita Falls since 1966, EddieHillsFunCycles.com. MacTech Solutions, located 4020 Ray Road, Suite 3B. We bring this to you from the MacTech Solutions podcast studios.
From MacTech Solutions.
Yes, oozes out the door. And
remember how it used to be filmed in front of a live studio audience?
Oh my God!
Crickets are watching.
Can you see a live audience in this place?
The only thing about none of us have a suit by Botany 5000. Wasn't it Botany 500 or Botany
500?
Yeah, it was.
That's it.
Chuck Woolery and
credits.
Everybody wardrobe by Botany 500 or 5000 or whatever it was.
You have one of those suits now.
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. And MacTech online at MacTech-Solutions.com, by the way.
Yes.
They are the Apple authorized service provider here in Texoma.
Apple office. Yeah, you got to do the. Yeah, they are the Apple. They are the one and only.
Emphasis on the.
That's right.
Yes, indeed. MacTech-Solutions.com. Also brought to you by Lolly and Pop's Sweet Shop, online bakery at Lolly and Pop's Sweet Shop on Facebook, and lpsweet.com is the website.
Yeah, if you were out house hunting this weekend, you could have stopped by. What's the address?
1715 Shoal Creek.
There you go. And in fact, that's actually. Can we say that?
I guess.
I guess my buddy, MacTech Solutions' own Ken Marlin.
Yeah,
it's actually his house, and Mike is selling it. It's a really nice house. He's actually moved up to another state.
Yes.
Anyway, he's
to the frozen north.
Yes, and anyway, so he was out this weekend showing that house off, and there was cookies. Had cookies.
We sure did.
Go follow him. You get samples.
That's right.
The problem is. That was in the past. People can't go back and get.
That's true, but if you look for the future, the next time he's out and subscribe to his Facebook page and
but are we guaranteeing cookies at every open house?
We sure try to.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
Yeah.
Well,
if I show up and there's no cookies, I'm flipping the table over.
A fat box of cookies right there. Just dig in, get you some.
They're good. By the way, they're really good cookies. Yeah. And I'm a cookie monster. I love cookies, and they're good. Yeah.
I'm also a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Texas, by the way. I'm not just showing up at someone's house and showing up their house.
Yes.
Yeah, let's clarify that.
They've actually granted me a license to to do that, so
which is pretty unbelievable.
It is actually somewhat.
Passed the background check, huh?
I did. They even took fingerprints, and I still got the job.
When you open up that Cracker Jack box, and that's where the license comes out. Background check's a little on the.
Oh, y'all making me sound credible. Yep, indeed. All right, let's move on here. We got a few things happening around the area. 28th, next Saturday.
Two big things going on.
Yeah, we
downtown.
got the Burn Shop Block Party and Steak Cook-Off. And that's going to be at the Burn Shop over on, is it Ohio?
Yes, it's basically going to be down the street from
where Zavala's going to be.
The farmer's market, and I think they're closed the street off there, too.
Yeah.
So.
And that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's an all-day event. It's a steak cook-off, after all.
Yeah, so you can't do steak cook-off in 10 minutes.
No, and depending on the
very rare.
I'm sure they're going to have plenty of entries too. By the way, that's going to be again next Saturday, the 28th, and also on the 28th.
And by the way, all the proceeds for that steak cook-off go to the Wichita Falls Police Department organization and the Wichita Falls Fire Department organization.
Oh, okay.
They take all the proceeds, they split it 50-50. Police and fire.
Kind of like a benevolent fund or something.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, all right. Then also on the 28th is Art Battle Texas State Championship. That's going to be at the Jess Bridwell Ag Center down at the Impact from 6 to 10 p.m. on the 28th. So that'll be going on kind of during the same time that the steak cook-off is going on there in the evening. So you can go eat steak and then go look at some art, I guess.
It's pretty crazy. They actually put people up on a stage and they time them and they do art while they're being watched and timed.
Yeah.
and that's why it's called an art battle.
Right.
And it's pretty crazy. It's pretty wild, and there's some very, very talented people who can just bang out some killer stuff in a very short period of time. It's pretty neat.
Several years in a row, this has been one of the finals of this have been in Wichita Falls.
Yeah,
Wichita
year, Falls.
So.
Yeah, we have a pretty good art community here in Wichita Falls. A pretty thriving art community, and
we do.
But it's a neat deal.
Yep, it is indeed. All right, well, let's see here. Let's talk about our local restaurant focus for this show. Each show that we do, we try to focus on and talk about a locally owned, family-owned, locally owned restaurant each time. And this week, this show, it's going to be Gidgets Sandwich Shop,
That's right.
which, incidentally, another kind of a downtown institution, I guess.
Absolutely, they've been there for a while. Their building is on the corner of 7th and Ohio, or isn't it, or 8th and Ohio?
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's well, we probably could pull it up
Oh,
right there.
yeah, it's right here. 701
Ohio.
So
Yeah, but
seven.
it's on the
That'd
corner.
be, that'd be 7th, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's 701.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a historic building.
Yeah.
Because that building, actually, there was a murder in that building.
Ooh.
Murders in the building.
I believe that's correct. I believe that was the bank building that the teller was killed when there was an attempted bank robbery in Wichita Falls.
That's right.
And the bank robbers were actually hung downtown. The people from Wichita Falls were so upset.
They hung him from a lamppost down there.
Yeah, because the teller was a very popular person.
Yeah.
They killed him. The bank robbers were arrested. They were taken in jail, and a mob went and took them out of jail and hung them.
A little citizen justice there.
Yeah, you got it right.
Frontier justice back in those days. I believe that was the building.
In fact, and I just a little history here also to add to that. Those two bank robbers are actually buried in a common grave at Riverside Cemetery.
Yes, they are.
Oh.
They're back toward the back of the cemetery. Yeah.
Oh, in the back. Yeah.
Anyhow, but a little history on that. But what Gidgets does have is they have a history of great sandwiches.
They do.
And great food.
They do.
Their food is really good.
Yes.
It's a great place to go get a nice fresh sandwich. Really a lot of neat flavors and unique flavors.
Yeah,
their
indeed.
chips are great. They make their own chips.
Yeah.
Everything's good there. But it's a great place to go.
It is.
Downtown for lunch.
Yep.
They've also been featured on the Texas Bucket List. If you like that show, which I love that show. It's one of my I record that and watch it every week.
Yeah.
And they were one of the Bite of the Weeks on the Texas Bucket List. So it's pretty,
Bite of the Weeks.
with all of the restaurants in Texas
Yeah.
and there's only so many that have been featured on the Bite of the Weeks. Pretty amazing.
It is. It's kind of a high honor, I guess.
Yeah, well, I imagine that, this is
I've
an old.
never done their breakfast. I didn't know they had a breakfast.
Well, this is from 2019, so I was looking for a menu, so,
But they do have, if you go down there, they've got a menu. I do know they do lunch. That's when I've eaten there. So
So some 2019 prices on there.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't pay attention to those prices. That's why I had a hard time in Dallas yesterday. We were down there looking for somebody who's got a recent menu on their website or something because, that's from 2019.
But Gidgets Sandwich Shop.
Yes.
It's a great place to go and get you a sandwich right downtown Wichita Falls and nice people.
Tell them you heard about it here.
That's right.
I have no idea what that'll get you, but you can try it. Anyway. Well, so kind of the big story, I guess, right now is another attempt on former president and now Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump's life.
But it's his fault.
Somehow it's his fault.
The good news is there was no shots fired on this one from the suspect. There were apparently shots fired from the Secret Service.
Yes,
that thwarted the thing.
Well, and I actually have seen a couple of stories on this that says that there was an exchange of gunfire with the suspect. So I think there's maybe some confusion on that. I don't know if there was or wasn't.
Yeah.
But I do know this much. The guy that shot at him is in custody.
Didn't shoot at him.
Did
not shoot.
I don't think he got it off. He was
didn't
waiting. He was laying in wait.
He didn't shoot at Trump.
And I think he was waiting. Wasn't it a closer hole that he would have?
Yes.
He was stationed.
He was waiting
ahead.
to take a shot.
12 hours this guy sat in the same spot.
He's almost like a sniper's nest.
Yes. Yeah. And what got him caught is a citizen got a look at his vehicle and I guess snapped a picture or something of his license plate.
That's what got him caught. Now, what originally the story I'm hearing that got him identified was a Secret Service agent saw the muzzle of the gun pointing through the chain link fence. And then fired. The suspect ran. Then a citizen. Okay. You know, we're piecing all this together, but who knows what the truth is? But it's somewhere in this.
Yeah.
A citizen took a picture of the car and the license plate, and then the bolo went out, and the sheriff, and I believe it was the county next to it, the sheriff's deputy there noticed it. I saw the sheriff from that county interviewed, noticed the car, pulled him over, and made the arrest. But apparently the guy dropped the gun and left the gun on the scene.
Yeah. Well.
Wow.
Of course, if you're being shot at, if he really was being shot at, sometimes, you know, getting the hell out of there is number one priority. You're not worried about evidence and all that.
You know, I mean, obviously he was not a trained sniper, because a trained sniper would not have stuck the muzzle of his rifle through the fence.
Not all the way through there, no.
Trained snipers are trained to shoot from cover.
Yeah, exactly.
And he clearly was not doing that. Fortunately, he was not doing that.
Or he would have at least stayed in cover until he could see the shot, pulled the barrel out and fired it. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't Chris Kyle. We knew that.
No.
But to be fair, though, he had an AK-47 with a scope on it, and we're talking about a pretty 300-yard shot or 300-foot shot or something like that. That's a layup.
Yeah.
With a scope.
Yeah.
SKS pattern. I think the initial reports were that with an AK, but I think they had decided.
SKS.
It's basically,
not that it matters.
It's the same type of rifle. The SKS is a Chinese and Russian
version of
the AK.
SKS pattern. Okay, I guess it is.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's still
it's a high-powered rifle.
Yeah,
223. I think they shoot 223 or some millimeter, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
People can kill deer with them.
Oh,
yeah, you can kill a mammal.
Could definitely kill a human being with it.
Exactly,
I mean, there's no question.
There's been a lot of people killed with SKSs in the world.
Well, they're saying Trump was just a few hundred yards away. I mean, this was not terribly unlike the last attempt. That shooter got to within what was it, like 2 football fields of where Trump was speaking. And also I had saw a report that said that this guy was on the FBI's radar at some point.
Apparently so.
Well, he's been arrested.
He's been
100 or some about over 100 encounters with law enforcement or something.
Right. So he's been on. So law enforcement's had him on their radar for different reasons.
He traveled all the way from Hawaii. He moved to Hawaii at some point from North Carolina. Was it? South Carolina?
And travels.
And then
basically the other side of the world. I mean, Hawaii to Florida ain't exactly around the corner.
No,
it's about as far. It's about as far as you can go from one side of the United States to the other.
Yeah.
That's the farthest west you can go to roughly the farthest east. I mean,
Yeah, and he was laughing as he was coming into the courtroom or something yesterday.
So the point, I guess,
laughing.
the point is behind this is
wow.
Once again, why wasn't security better? Why wasn't a dog team sent out to sweep the perimeter? Why weren't there drones? And maybe there were. I don't know. But that goes back to, again, why are we having this? Why are we having this problem knowing that there's a threat to this individual?
Right. Well, we have, and I think probably in the last. Well, I was going to say since the Kennedy assassination, but probably really since the attempt on Reagan's life. I always felt like they really went the extra mile with security on our presidents. Mm-hmm. The Secret Service. I mean, they literally surround the man as he's moving from one location to another. They have Secret Service protection for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
for the rest of their lives. So the fact that you've had now a second attempt on his life, and this guy got close. Okay, maybe he didn't get a shot off, but he was well within range.
Oh, sure.
To have been able to kill the president of the United States.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Presidential candidate. It's just insane.
Theoretically, former presidents have the same security as, and I guess also presidential candidates because
they do not. They do not. They have different levels of.
Well, I mean. Yeah, I would think so.
No. I'm saying that, by policy.
By policy.
Yeah, I saw somebody doing some explanations.
Okay.
There's different security packages.
Okay.
A sitting president and a sitting vice president will have a higher security package than a presidential candidate or a former president.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, good.
Well, you think about it. If you're a former president, chances are generally the threat level is not as high. And then, like somebody was talking about, the threat level of Jimmy Carter or to George H.W. Bush, who are not out and about, not making public appearances all the time, not running for president and stuff like that, is much lower.
Right. Well, and with time, they don't have the same information that they had.
Exactly.
Right?
So basically, what they're supposed to do is assess the risk and assign detail based on the risk.
Right.
And once again, this is all just stuff. I've just called this together. I was in the car for 12 hours on Sunday, so I was a lot of driving and listening to satellite radio and stuff like that.
Guys, I'll tell you what, this is how things have changed. I remember I read an article years ago. That was
breaking news. Mike read an article.
Yeah, I know. Mike read.
Yeah.
No, it was an article I read years ago. The guy that wrote it had an encounter. He met then former U.S. President Harry Truman. And he actually drove by Truman's house, and Truman was in the front yard, working in his front yard, and he just stopped and had a conversation with Truman in his front yard. Now, is there anybody that thinks that you're going to drive by and catch Jimmy Carter, if Jimmy Carter were still physically able to do so, out in the front, front yard,
or George Bush, George H.W. Bush,
out in the peanut field,
No, you wouldn't.
George W. Bush, not H.W. George W. Bush,
George W. No, you're not going to see any of these. You're not going to encounter. Yeah. You're not just going to happen upon any of these guys now.
Well,
none of them.
Well, but also too, Truman. I mean, back in that day, there wasn't the. I don't know what the right way to say this, but I think our politicians now whether we consider them elite or not, but they're the elite, and so they've got they're separated, they're distanced from the real life of most human beings. And back then, it was more, a guy
like Truman would have been seen more as a common man.
I think we have that perception, but I don't know that how true that is.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think in general, people have more respect. In general, I'm not saying you didn't have a crazy person. I mean, James Garfield was assassinated.
Oh yeah.
So there and Abe Lincoln was assassinated. So there were people that were assassinated back then. But I do believe that the average person has more respect for positions and that sort of thing now than they did. I mean, had more respect then than they do now.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Because number one, wasn't it? I mean, it was a special deal just to fly on an airplane.
Well,
right?
sure.
People dressed up, and they dressed up on a cruise ship.
And my mother used to say, if the President of the United States, is your room clean? I go, yeah. If the President of the United States came to our house, would you be embarrassed to show him the room? I mean, but I know that sounds silly, but that was a level. The President of the United States coming to do anything was a big deal.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah.
I think I got spanked because after Carter was elected, I said, well, it wouldn't matter to me because it's Jimmy Carter. But But honestly, no. But I did learn a lesson at that time was it doesn't matter. You respect the office.
Right. Well,
and I was taught that lesson that day by my parents. Is it doesn't matter if you like the person or not.
Okay.
If you respect the office.
So all right. So let's ask the question. I think that we've all thought about this at least since not so much Carter, but certainly we'd all go, oh, absolutely, if we could meet Reagan, right? I mean, you'd be all about it, right?
Yeah.
But then maybe George H.W. Bush, I'd probably say, yeah. And then, but what about Clinton? If you got a chance, even today or when he was president,
well,
how would you feel?
If the happenstance was that I met Bill Clinton, I would address him as Mr. President, and I'd be respectful and shake his hand.
Right.
Because or Barack Obama or George W. Bush or
what about
Joe Biden?
I have seen.
I respect them for their office they held.
I've seen Bill Clinton in person speaking. Didn't meet him. Met George W. Bush. He was running for governor of Texas at the time. So that's been a long time ago. But those are the only two I've ever, gotten close to. Same thing. I would, Bill Clinton is as much of a scoundrel.
Scoundrel.
As I think
That's the word I was thinking too.
I'd still shake his hand. I'd still address him as Mr. President. Barack Obama, same thing. I think he's a scoundrel too, in a different way. But I would still.
I don't think Barack Obama is as bad a person as Bill Clinton is.
Oh, I don't think on a personal level, probably not. On a professional level, I think
he was worthless. Paul,
he's an opportunist. He's an opportunist.
I totally agree with that. But I don't think he's a scoundrel like Bill Clinton.
You don't spend your whole life working in public service. You're a community organizer, or whatever. You don't spend your whole life doing that if you're not some kind of an opportunist.
No, I totally agree. Barack Obama's not. Yeah, I'm not saying he's the best person in the world. I'm just simply saying I wouldn't put he and Bill Clinton together as far as level of scoundrelness.
Well, and I'll go back to Harry Truman for a moment in talking about scoundrels. And I think I'm probably paraphrasing this quote a little bit, but Harry Truman famously said, "Show me a man who gets rich in politics and I'll show you a crook."
Yeah, that's true.
So, you shouldn't be hanging out in politics long enough to get rich at it.
Yeah.
No way, no how.
It wasn't supposed to be that way. But anyhow, so we've covered it. But that was the assassination attempt. So hopefully Trump will make it through the election.
Gosh, we just got a few weeks to go here.
Yeah.
We are literally now. We are 8? Well, no, not even 8 weeks. More like about 6 weeks away.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what this task force. Congress has a task force on this, and we'll see what the Congressional Task Force is doing. I will say, though, it was with the shooting the first time, and I hope that this one's the same way. It was a bipartisan thing.
Yeah.
People in Congress are going, wait a minute, this is BS. You can't, because it doesn't matter, and I'm the same way. It doesn't matter politically where you stand, whether you like somebody or don't like somebody. I don't want Biden shot. I don't want Harris shot. I don't want any of these people that are high-level people in our government assassinated. That's ridiculous.
And I think we should the candidates' security details need to be in some ways as good, I think, at this point in time as what the president has, because the president's not going to be there. So this is affecting if somebody were to kill either one of them, then that is a huge blow to our election system.
Improv here. Yes, and generally the president is not at rallies all the time. These candidates are much more active. Well, she's not as active as we expect for her to be, but she has been active.
Right, she's out.
What I'm saying is, when you're running for president, you are much more active as far as
more risk.
Yes, you're not holed up in the White House or at Camp David or something like that as much.
Yeah, they should be doing even extra on both sides. And
well, it's a different world. We live in a different world than we lived in, even when Bill Clinton was running for president.
Sure.
I mean, you didn't have social media. You didn't have the internet as we have it today. You didn't. There's a lot of.
Al hadn't invented it yet.
Yeah. Al was working on it in Bill's basement.
Yeah.
So transportation technology has not really changed much, right? So you have access to be able to transport yourself. Like in this case, he flew all the way from Hawaii to there.
Yeah, so Scotty didn't beam him over.
No,
right. We're still doing all that same way.
Right. And so, but we do have more access to information. Now, whether it's always quality information, that's another thing. But if this more information now gives people rise to have knowledge and more real-time knowledge about the way things are going. And so I just wonder if there's really that many more people percentage-wise, because there's more people on the planet than there were 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so just if there's more people, not that many more, but are there that many more people though that want to do these kinds of things? I
don't think we have necessarily more. You're talking about people that are radicalized in some way or another.
Do we have more people radicalized?
I think there are more people that are radicalized now because of social media.
There may be a few more, but I don't think you're talking about double-digit increases percentage-wise in the number of people who would do something like this. Yeah. I think we do see it more, we notice it more, we hear about it more. Right. We live in a world now where we are constantly bombarded with news and information. It is literally 24/7. It is literally in your ear, in your face, on your phone. It's in your pocket. It goes everywhere you go. 35, 40 years ago, if something like this happened, you would be hearing about it on the evening news at 5:30 or 6 o'clock.
You would hear it later. Yeah.
One of the network news people would be telling you about it in the evening, or you tune into CNN or whatever.
You might hear it on the radio.
Or you might hear it on the radio.
Yeah.
But more than likely, that's how you got it. You didn't have a device with you all the time that was constantly shooting you information and news all the time. So I think now maybe there's a perception that we have a lot more people that are radicalized this way. I don't think we do. There may be more, but I don't think it's a massive increase. I don't think you've got tens of thousands of people running around the country today as compared to 40 years ago that would want to try to assassinate a president or former president. I just don't believe that.
I think there are more people who want it to happen. I don't think there's a lot more people who are willing to. There's a whole lot of difference. I hope somebody dies and willing to shoot somebody, willing to kill somebody. Yeah. If you've never taken another person's life, you don't understand. It's not. It's for most people, for the average person, it is not a
right.
Well, I'm just gonna kill somebody today. I mean, that's not. There's a lot more to it. You might want it to happen. You might wish it happened. You might whatever. But when it comes down to it, actually taking somebody's life is a totally different thing. Well, and I think there are more people who would like for it to happen, because I do think there are more people that are radicalized that way. But I don't think there's. I think there's actually fewer people that are willing to happen. Yeah. I think that are willing to do it. I think there's a lot more weak people in this world, which is fine, or in this country, not this world, because there's some crazy folks out in this world. Yeah. I think there's a lot more people, or a lot fewer people that would take any sort of real action, but would just sit and wish it to happen.
Right.
Well, I hear the word wish. I hear wish. I wish this. I wish that. What does that mean? You wish? What are you looking for, your fairy godmother? I mean, what the hell? You want something to happen. You would like for something, but you wish it would happen?
Yeah, well,
Jesus Christ.
Well, here's the thing. Let's go back to Kennedy. One of the controversial aspects of Kennedy was that he was Catholic, and there were a lot of people that didn't want a Catholic in the White House.
Which is crazy. That wasn't that many years ago. We kind of look at it and go, who cares?
Yeah. But that was something that was considered. I don't know if radical is really the right word to apply to it, but it was something that a lot of people would not have wanted.
Right.
Now there may have been a lot of people that may have cheered the assassination of John F. Kennedy. There may have been a lot of people that had said that they had hoped he wouldn't.
Yeah, but they wouldn't go do it.
But you didn't hear about those people. They didn't have an outlet, a voice for that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
they didn't have the internet. They didn't have social media. They didn't have that outlet for that. So those people may have existed, but you wouldn't, unless you knew them personally. You probably would never have known that they felt that way about the man.
But
today, though, that kind of unfortunately, that kind of vitriol gets spewed everywhere thanks to the internet.
But I also think that people don't respect human life as much as they used to, because people have been desensitized. I don't mean they're going to do anything.
Yeah.
But when you hear about people being killed and stuff,
well, you see it.
There's a lot of people. Right. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot more desensitization. I mean, think about it. There are so many people now that care more about their damn animal, their pet, than children, than kids, than their children, and you hear about we're letting people in the country, and you say all these people are being human trafficked and stuff like that. People don't seem to care. They don't seem to have that gut-wrenching feeling that there are children out there and women out there that are being victimized daily because of the bullshit policies that we have, and people just they're not worried about it. They don't give a shit, because all they're caring about is their Facebook and what did Jilly have for dinner? Oh, what did so and so have? Oh, those are some cute shoes. Blah 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 blah. Jesus Christ, get off your fucking phone and pay attention to what's going on in this world.
Tell us what you really think.
Well, I'm so sick and tired of people getting so soaked up in their own bullshit that is meaningless in the grand scheme of things.
There should be more outrage. There should be more outrage over the human trafficking situation that's going on.
It's insane.
Well,
it should be a lot more.
Right, but I think it's because partly we go on a day-to-day basis and we don't see that stuff. You don't, right? How often
But you're
do you
hearing
hear?
it. But you hear about it.
No, you do, but you don't.
Yeah, but you get so
No. I agree. What I'm
mindless.
saying is, and I'm not saying it's right. I don't know what you do because it's so private. That's the thing. They got to try to keep it because these kids are being sexually abused. You don't want their pictures being pasted on the front
but you
page.
just need to know that it happens. You need
No,
to be
I know
reminded all the
that,
time.
but it doesn't have the same impact.
Guys,
That's
I'm-
the
I
problem.
tell
totally
you
agree with
something.
that.
So
But
I
the
don't know
problem
how-
is the cell phone is going to be the cell phone is not only a great thing. Social media is not only a great thing.
Oh, I know.
It's also going to be the ruination of our society.
Well, I'll tell you
There's too many
something.
people that are mindless. You go to a doctor's office, you go to a dentist's office,
Everybody's
and they just
Well,
you go to a restaurant.
yeah.
You, look, when you're doing this, you're not gaining any information.
No.
And I see it all the time.
But I'm going to tell you this, guys. Speaking as somebody who has spent a very large portion of his life involved in media, the human trafficking problem, the issue, the tragedy of this would be, I think more people would be outraged if the media was treating it differently.
Agreed.
The media is not giving this the attention or the focus that it should have, and their motivations for not doing that are purely politically motivated.
It's criminal.
It's just criminal. It's pure political motivation, though. They want their guy, or now in this case, their gal to win, and so we can't focus too much on that because that'll be a detractor. This is a problem that they've not owned, and so we don't want that to hurt them. You got to be kidding me! You literally got God knows how many, as you said, children and women that are being victimized in the human trafficking situation, and the media is not giving it the attention that they should be giving it. They're not focusing on it. We should have a Walter Cronkite or someone on that border reporting on this literally 7 days a week.
Yeah, as opposed to just being Fox News.
It should be a hyper-focused thing 7 days a week.
Yeah,
and
CNN should be out there, MSNBC.
And they're not.
No,
They're not.
Everybody should know about this because it doesn't matter what politically whether you're an ultra conservative or an ultra liberal.
Yeah.
Can we all agree that this is bad?
I don't get all wrapped up in celebrities at all. I really don't. But from what I'm hearing, apparently there's a bunch of celebrities that have said oh, Trump bad, Trump's an awful guy, he's just a horrible person, and then they go into why you should vote for him.
Well, that's exactly right.
Are you hearing this also?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's famous people who come on there, and the first thing they do is they go, I'm not a Trump fan. I don't whatever.
Right.
And then they list every reason that people should vote for him. There's a lot of people out there, I think, and I think there's a lot of people that are this way. Yeah. They're going to say whatever they're going to say.
Right.
They're going to get in that poll booth. Three of us are pretty vocal. We don't mind looking to a camera, talking into a microphone and saying, this is our policy opinion.
Right.
But there's a lot of people
that won't.
And for a lot of reasons. One, they don't want ire from their family or their friends or whatever. Two, it may affect their career. It could have a financial impact on them. And it's easy to sit in the catbird seat and go, well, I would do that. Now, you don't know what you would do. If your job was at risk, you may just be careful of what you say.
When I was doing conservative talk radio all those years, one of the things I would press the national salespeople about, why don't we have more of company X, Y, or Z spending money in our market and on this station, given the numbers we had and all this. Well, they don't want to be associated with conservative talk. It's seen as too controversial. They don't want to be associated with it. And I'm like, they do understand that conservatives eat too. Conservatives also buy cars and take out loans and do all the same things every day that liberals do.
Yeah. The difference is, though, conservatives tend to don't tend to boycott things.
Right.
As a whole.
Right.
They don't tend to make a big noise about it. I don't like something, live and let live.
Yeah.
It's one of those deals, whereas you know, somebody who, and I'm going to go away from liberal a little bit more to the left, but the left, they're the ones who are firing up these groups of people and protesting and stuff like that. When Trump got shot, let's say Joe Biden had been shot in the air. Do you think there'd have been no protest at all from the left?
Oh my God!
Oh my God! No, there would have been. It would have blamed Trump.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is there wasn't a riot. There wasn't a building burned down. There wasn't anything because people just accepted the guy got shot in the ear. He's going to live. He's okay, and move on.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I feel like you're right. There's a lot of people that they'll say hey, I'm not a Trump supporter, but and maybe they're going to go ahead and vote for him. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I did see within the last couple of days some analysis of the Electoral College, how the breakdown's going to go, and they, with the exception of Illinois, Minnesota, of course, D.C., Virginia, Hawaii, Oregon, Washington, California, and I think also New Mexico was going blue. Every other state on the map was red, and it puts Trump well within winning range on the Electoral College count.
Yeah.
Well within winning range. And by the way, for anybody who wants to say, well, we need to get rid of the Electoral College. We need to just vote for the president. No, you don't want a direct vote for president, because what will happen is all those blue states, California,
it'll go down to cities, not even states.
Los Angeles,
yes.
San Francisco, Chicago, Minneapolis, Houston,
well, Dallas, sometimes.
New York,
El Paso,
yep,
New York. Those cities that have huge population centers,
they will decide the election.
Los Angeles County has a larger population than like 14 states combined, or 15 states combined. Seriously, it's that massive. They will decide every presidential election from now till God comes.
Yeah.
You'll never have another fair presidential election. The Electoral College ensures that those electors are
the flyover states. Let's call them.
They have a voice.
Yeah, and they
those
should.
states have a voice in the election. Otherwise, you will never, ever, ever have another president that won't be elected by the West Coast or the East Coast or
anything in the middle. It'll be East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
That means that nobody will ever have to worry about going to Iowa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
or Oklahoma.
Right.
They won't
campaign.
Won't matter. Won't matter.
Well,
So.
they're going to put their money where they need. In fact, right now, they don't even really spend a lot of time in Texas. Any of the states where they're winning for the most part.
The only presidential campaign ads that I've seen in this market have been for Harris.
Right.
And somebody asked me, they said, why haven't we seen any Trump ads? We haven't heard any Trump ads on the radio, haven't seen on TV. I'm like, he doesn't need to spend money.
Why spend your money?
His campaign does not need to be spending campaign dollars here because
in the big cities.
Well, let's take the 13th congressional district. Our congressional district, bigger than most states in terms of land mass and has a bigger population overall. The 13th congressional district will overwhelmingly vote Trump, and they know it. He will get at least 75% of the vote in the 13th congressional district, and they know that. So armed with that knowledge, why would you spend millions of dollars on advertising in a congressional district in a market where you're a lock, you've got it.
Yeah, well, I doubt if you go to Los Angeles, you hear any Harris ads running or anything.
Probably not.
Yeah, right. It's all about spend. It's ROI. What's your return on your investment?
Right, exactly. So,
well, real quickly, let's talk about something local here because this is a local show.
All right.
About Wichita County residents may receive up to a $3,000 rebate on a tornado shelter.
Yeah.
So
get your application in. Because it will.
It will. I mean, I think it goes through May 31st, 2026.
Or until they run out of money.
Yeah.
I would
right. It is. And it is, I believe this is a state program, a state grant or a federal grant that Wichita County they're hooked up with.
Right.
But it has to be a certified and approved storm shelter.
Right.
and it has to be installed by a certified or approved storm shelter installation guy. You know, Jimbo can't go grab some 3/4 inch, you know, sheet metal and build him a certified storm shelter and get $3,000. So anyhow, but it goes through the Wichita County Emergency Management Office or the city of Wichita Falls to determine if the property is in a floodplain, and then whether the county will approve their request. The grant program will run until May 31st, 2026, or, as Terry said, until the money ran out. That's true. Nancy Gregory is the county contact, or is the contact for the Wichita County. So contact Nancy Gregory if you have any questions about it.
Now, they're using the word rebate here. And so what I glean from that is you submit your plan for your shelter. They tell you whether it qualifies to get the rebate. You have the installer install it. Yeah. You pay for it. Then they will rebate you.
Yeah, you get a check cut to you after the fact, but you have to install the thing. It's not. They're not kicking in half of it right off the bat. Up to $3,000.
Well, I was going to say it's half.
It's up to half, but up to $3,000.
But up to right. So if you you have to spend $6,000 to get.
I don't think you can buy a storm shelter.
No,
for
I know,
less than that.
but to get the full $3,000, you have to spend $6,000.
Yeah, so, but once again, I don't know that. Can you buy a storm shelter for less than $6,000?
Probably not. And I know one of the more popular ones, of the last, probably 10, 15 years has become what's called the flat safe. That may be a brand name of them or a trade name of them, but they're actually installed in your garage. Mm-hmm. They come in, they cut a hole in the garage floor and drop this shelter in the floor, and it as the name implies, it's flat. It's flush with the floor of the garage. You just drive right over it, park over whatever.
Or the other one is the above ground. And there's, I think, Home Depot or Lowe's or something. They used to sell those there.
They do.
And a lot of times when you walk in the entrance,
you go into your garage. They'll go into your garage
in the corner.
This thing is, and it is a certified storm shelter. I mean, it's made by a really thick material, and the way it's built, and they bolt that to the garage floor, and you're above ground. The nice thing about being above ground is you ain't got to worry about getting flooded water getting into it.
That's true.
And you're probably less likely to get stuff blocking the door. That's always been one of my things. If you in the ground storm shelter, and something lands on top,
debris,
debris.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, because it's not just that the wind is blowing; it's what the wind is blowing.
Well,
and it's a bunch of stuff going.
And that's why you have to register your
storm
shelters, whether they're right, so they know.
Yeah.
So. But an above ground storm shelter to me makes a lot of sense. You're probably, like I said, you're probably less likely to get stuck in there,
right? Because you can at least, even if it's on, things have it will probably collapse on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Something will, and then it's there, but it's going to hit at an angle or
probably so. Yeah,
and these steel shelters. These steel shelters, like he's talking about, I don't know if it's 3/16 or 4-inch material. Yeah. It's thick steel plate material.
It's rolled over a frame.
It's not likely that anything's going to collapse your shelter if it fails.
Oh, no, not good. Yeah, it'd be a collapse around it, but not.
Yeah, but it's not going to crush your shelter.
Yeah, something super heavy would. I don't know what you if you'd set a car on top of it. I'm sure there's something could crush it, but it's like anything. Yeah. The whole point is, if a tornado is going to get you, it's going to get you. Yeah. But you do everything you can to keep yourself in out of harm's way.
You certainly would be a lot safer riding it out inside that above ground shelter in the garage or in a closet.
It's all risk
than you would be just hunkered down in the hallway with a pillow over your head.
Yeah, or in the bathtub.
And I have rode out a couple of tornadoes like that where we're in the hallway, with the mattress over us going, gee, I wonder what this thing will actually stop.
Well, a friend of mine, I was in the Air Force in 1991. The McConnell Air Force Base up in Wichita was a big tornado back then, and it hit the base. And anyway, one of the guys in my shop saw it coming. They were all standing outside looking. Oh, hey, look! Oh, we got to go get. So they hunkered down. But this particular most places in Wichita or in Kansas have basements. But this particular part of base housing did not, and so he ended up he grabbed his dog and they got a few pillows and got in the tub. Well, it all happened. Well, he and his dog ended up upside down in his front yard.
Oh my gosh!
I'm thinking about it on your tub. You're going ding ding ding, help, ding ding ding. So anyway, no, the neighbors all started looking and the guys from my shop also went over there and helped him. Had to uncovering.
tub up.
Yeah. So interesting.
Tornadoes do some crazy things. So
they do some really
like
weird
I said,
things.
it's just trying to protect yourself as best you can. I mean, there are no guarantees, but there's no guarantees in life anyhow.
Yeah, there was a guy I met. His dad. There was a like a gas station type auto shop type place there on South. I guess it was Southwest Parkway or Jacksboro Highway. Anyway, it was in the path of the tornado that hit Wichita Falls in 1979, and he said that the guys that were still in the shop, because this thing hit in the evening, so a lot of people had already gone home from work by the time it hit. But there were 3 or 4 guys still in the shop working. They got down, you have the oil pit, where you get down to do the oil changes. Well, they got down in the oil pit, I guess, and that's where they wrote it out. He said his dad, it was his dad or granddad, told him he had a glass bottle of Coca-Cola sitting on the counter in the front of the store, unopened. So you remember the old glass bottles that you had to pop the top off? He just got it out of the machine. It's sitting on the counter. When they get out of there, that portion of the building was still standing, partially. The Coke was still sitting on the counter, and there was a thin layer of dirt floating on top of the Coke.
Yeah, so it's all the pressure.
In a sealed bottle.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing as you've seen those bottles where the stick goes right through it.
Yes.
And, it has to do with pressures and everything else.
Oh, yeah. It's so
crazy.
wild, the things you see. It really is. I guess we'll wrap this show up here.
Yep.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Get It Right Texoma from the Mac Tech Solutions podcast studios. Again, this show is brought to you by Eddie Hills Fun Cycles at 401 North Scott, EddieHillsFunCycles.com, Mac Tech Solutions, 4020 Ray Road, Suite 3B, MacTechSolutions.com, and Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop online at lpsweet.com and on Facebook, Lolly and Pop's Sweet Shop. So be sure to visit our website, GetItRightTexoma.com. Be sure to visit our Facebook page also. Leave your comments. Be sure to like and share this with all your friends, people you love, people you hate. Just share it with them. Shove it on out there to them. And but be sure and tell us, give us your feedback. We want to hear from you. We want to know how you feel about the show, what you like, what you don't like. We're big boys. We can handle it. Just tell us the truth, okay? But we do want to hear from you. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being with us once again. We appreciate it. Take care, and we shall see you down the road.